What's up everyone, Chris Rogers here with an extra special video today on the brand new HERO13 Black from GoPro. I've been playing around with this camera for the past couple weeks now, putting it through its paces. I have a lot to cover about this camera, but first here's a little compilation of some of the footage I've collected over the past couple weeks.
That was sick! Holy!
GoPro's brand new flagship camera, the HERO13 Black. I'm really pumped on this camera. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a travel and action sports filmmaker. I spend most of the year traveling around the planet, working with some of the best athletes in the world in the action sports realm. And I document it all on a GoPro. So I feel like my opinion on this camera carries a lot of weight compared to your average, tech review, camera review channel. No disrespect to those guys, they do a great job, but I'm gonna review this camera from a very action sports orientated perspective and kind of give my opinion on everything new with it. Won't touch on all the features, but we'll touch on everything that I think is really cool and stuff I'm going to use. So before we dive into this, there's a couple things I wanted to mention. This video is not sponsored by GoPro. I feel like most action camera videos on YouTube these days seem to be sponsored. I mentioned that last year. I feel like it's important to say it again. I have worked with GoPro in the past. We'll probably continue to work with them in the future. Yeah, use that information as you will. If you think I'm being biased, call me out in the comments. So first off, the form factor of the HERO13 is almost the same as the HERO12, which has been kind of the same since the HERO9. I've always been a big fan of this. I really like this size and weight. I don't really want it to change. There have been two significant changes. One of the minor changes with the form factor is the new magnetic mounting system on the bottom. We still have the standard GoPro foldable legs like we've always had, but now we've got this quick release magnetic system. Very cool, very convenient. For once, GoPro seems to have copied their competitors and not the other way around. So that's really cool to see. And the cool thing with this is you can also now quick release while the HERO13 is in the medium mod and in a float. There are certain situations when I'm filming where that is very, very convenient. That being said, it does seem like everybody forgot about this quick clip system. Yes, the magnetic thing is a bit more convenient in certain situations, but the GoPro quick clip, we've had it for like a decade. For some reason, everybody seemed to have forgotten about that and how convenient it was. But this situation is very convenient and it's pretty robust as well. I've put this thing through some gnarly wipeouts and haven't had any issues. So very stoked on that. Okay, so something I just found out right now, which I need to add in here. This quick latch system, you can clip it on both ways, which is really cool. So on my HERO12, I added this third-party system by a company called Ulanzi, which you can clip on. I'm 90% sure this is just literally the DJI one, but you can't really put it on back. Like the magnets push and you can like force it in, but it's not easy. There's like a pushback when you try to mount it the wrong way. Whereas with the GoPro one, there's no pushback. You can just easily clip it in any way. I know a lot of people are going to be really stoked about that. And the second thing GoPro has changed is the shape of the battery. I wasn't too stoked about this because, I've got plenty of batteries that I've been using since, the HERO11. I mean, you can use the same battery, I think, since the HERO9, but the battery shape has changed. It's gotten bigger, which means there's more battery life. And I've done a lot of side-by-side comparisons using the same modes on the 12 and 13, and the 13 has outlasted the 12 pretty significantly every time while running with the GPS on. That being said, the GPS is back in the HERO13. Personally, don't really care much for it, never really use it much. It is cool for overlays, and there seems to be a lot of people that really like the GPS, so they'll be pretty stoked on that. So something I'm pretty pumped on with the new HERO13 is the burst slow-mo video mode. So in my opinion, GoPro have kind of always been the market leader when it comes to slow motion and action camera. They've just gone and taken it to the next level. We now have 120 frames per second at 5.3K. We have 360 frames per second at 960p and 400 frames per second at 720p HD. However, there are some limitations to these modes. The limitations are that in the video burst mode, the HERO13 can only record up to a couple seconds, most likely due to the limitations of the camera and that it would probably just overheat and explode if it recorded for longer. So the 5.3K at 120 FPS can only record for 5 seconds, and the other modes can record for up to 15 seconds. Now this is a very niche use case mode to use. Personally, I'm really stoked on it. I've been pushing for something like this in action camera for a long time, because for me, slow motion is super important when it comes to action sports, and I'm always going to want more frames per second. Explain some examples for this sort of use case scenario is, if you're standing on the end of a jump and your friend is sending it off on his bike, snowboard, skis, you only need 5 to 15 seconds. You just need the trick. So you could shoot that in the regular slow motion modes, great, epic. But if you really wanted to take it to the next level, you could shoot at 360 frames per second and just have so much more slow motion to play with. I've been having a lot of fun, did some epic follow cams wakeboarding using the 360p, and you can really see the difference. I shot it at 4K 120, 2.7K 240, and 960p at 360. And this allows me to slow down the footage way more. For some reason, I'm not too sure why, the GoPro has to crop in when using the 360 frames per second mode. It crops into linear. It's not too bad. The 400 crops into narrow, so it punches in quite a lot. I kind of wish it was wide. I'm sure there's some explanation as to why the GoPro can't do it. I'm not an engineer, I don't know. But one of the little hacks I've done with the slow-mo burst mode to get a wider field of view, because I'm not crazy about the linear and the narrow, it works, but I always want the widest field of view when filming. So what I do is I take the ultra-wide lens, I put it on the camera, and I switch it into the video burst mode. Now, GoPro is not going to endorse this, the camera is not made for this. Hyper Smooth is definitely not optimized for this. But it's a cool little hack to know, and I thought I'd share with you guys. Because you got to break the rules, find the workarounds, find the hacks to get the best out of your camera. So, very stoked on the video burst modes. I'd like to see more options than this in future, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. Just the tip of the iceberg and what we will hopefully see one day. I'm always going to be dreaming of, 400 FPS at 4K. I mean, we're going to get there. It's got to be in the next 5 years, if not less, which is ridiculous. It's insane to say that. So the new HB series lenses from GoPro are probably one of the biggest features of the HERO13 this year. GoPro have gone all out on lens attachments. We've got the ultra wide, which is basically the new Max Lens Mod 2.0. And then we've got the macro filter, the anamorphic lens, and the ND series filters. So we're gonna break down all of these right now. So one of the coolest and most convenient things GoPro have done this year with the new lenses is that the HERO13 will automatically detect whatever lens you put on it and then adjust to the correct mode and settings for that lens. It really creates a way more friendly user experience. Because now you don't have to go into the camera settings yourself, potentially put on the wrong mode or wrong settings, and just end up completely ruining all of your footage. Not to mention the time saved not fiddling with settings and modes and all the little details. You can actually just focus on having fun with whatever activity you're doing. I gotta say, over the last couple of years, I can really see how GoPro have prioritized the user friendliness of their cameras. Because if I've learned anything over the past 14 years of using a GoPro, is that they're pretty easy to use, but not that easy to master. As with most things in life, I should really create like a GoPro masterclass. So first up is the macro filter on the HERO13. This is a brand new lens from GoPro this year, and they've designed a completely new mode in the camera just for this lens. If you are not familiar with macro filters, basically it allows you to create depth of field and focus on things that are way closer to the camera than with just the regular GoPro lens. If I hold the GoPro up close like this, the 13 and the GoPro aren't really in focus. But the macro filter lets you film up close with something and keeps it in focus. If you put your GoPro too close to something, you'll find that as soon as you get within about an inch or two from the lens, it's out of focus. But with the macro filter, it is now in focus. So the macro filter is adjustable and allows you to change the focal length from, probably about a 1 or 2 inches away to pretty much a full arm's length. So if I switch over to the macro filter, I'm probably a bit blurry right now, but if I adjust it, now I should be in focus. I'm hoping there's a little bit of depth of field with some blur behind me, but it just creates a way more intimate shot, something we've never seen on a GoPro before. I'm really excited to see what people do with this because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of new and creative ways to now capture things on a GoPro. I could totally see grandparents getting a macro filter and leaving it on a bird feeder to get really epic up-close shots of whatever birds. This year, GoPro have developed their own range of ND filters. We've got an ND4, ND8, ND16, and ND32 filter. So ND filters are nothing new to a GoPro. We've had them for years, but the difference is they've never really been the most user-friendly things. It's more of an advanced accessory. And GoPro found a way to make it extremely user-friendly. If you're not familiar with ND filters, basically in very simple terms is they create a very awesome cinematic motion blur to your footage. If you look here, there should be a lot more motion blur on the HERO13 video by the ground than on the HERO12 with no ND filter. This helps create the sense of movement, the sense of speed. You know, a lot of people message me, hey Chris, why doesn't my footage look fast on the GoPro? Usually for 2 reasons. 1, you're not holding it close enough to something to show the relative motion, and 2, you're not using ND filters. Side-by-side comparisons of capture over the last couple days, you can see the HERO12 with no ND filter versus the HERO13 with an ND filter. I shot all of these on auto mode. Now yes, we can capture the same effect on previous GoPros, but you better know what you're doing with regards to your shutter speed, your ISO, your exposure value. And if you don't get that right, you're probably going to ruin your footage. And now with the HERO13 and the ND filters, it's all automated for you. You don't have to worry about the correct mode, settings, everything. GoPro just handles it for you. Which means I'm going to start probably using ND filters again. GoPro has a specific mode for each ND filter in the camera. The HERO13 will automatically adjust to whichever ND you put on it. With an ND filter on the HERO13, if we go into the ProTune settings, we'll now see there's a motion blur option. We can either select auto or high, depending on how much motion blur we want. And you'll also see there's a new shutter option called auto cinematic. This is going to allow the GoPro to adjust your shutter speed to whatever is going to create the best cinematic look for that ND filter. I cannot even begin to explain how insane this is for user friendliness of a camera, because in the past you would buy a set of ND filters, but like I said, you really need to know what you're doing, otherwise your footage is going to look pretty messed up. A little hack for the ND filters: if you already own a set of ND filters because maybe you have them for your HERO10, 11, 12, you can still use them on the HERO13. But then you'll just have to manually select whatever ND you have. So let's say you have an ND8 filter from some random third-party company. You can still put it on your HERO13, but then you'll have to manually go into the camera and select which ND filter you've put on to match whatever ND you have. And you're probably going to get the same results. I haven't fully tested it, but I'm like 99% sure about this. So you could save yourself some money and buy something like the macro filter instead. Obviously, the GoPro filter is automatically changing without you having to do it. Super convenient, massive time saver. The new ultra-wide lens for the HERO13. This is exactly the same as the Max Lens Mod 2.0. They've just renamed it. I do think ultra-wide is a way better name because that's exactly what it is. It's an ultra-wide lens for your GoPro. The only real difference between the ultra-wide is that it auto-detects on the HERO13, and there is now a 1:1 filming ratio with the ultra-wide. Really stoked about this. It's great if you want to shoot in one mode and crop, obviously, you know, for short form content in vertical or more traditional content like YouTube, TV in horizontal. You can still put the Max Lens Mod 2 on the HERO13 and get the exact same results as the ultra wide. It's the exact same lens. Obviously, it just won't auto detect like the ultra wide will. Since the HERO12, I've used the ultra wide or Max Lens Mod 2.0 more than I ever could have imagined. Last year, I shot an entire production for Sea-Doo using the ultra wide. Love this lens, I use it all the time. Highly, highly recommend it. If somebody told me they only had enough money to buy one lens in the entire range, this is the first one I'm always going to recommend. So another really cool thing on the ultra wide on the HERO13 is that it now shoots in 10-bit video. This is a massive upgrade. If you're not familiar with what 10-bit is, it basically stores more data in the video. It's a higher bit rate, and therefore you have more freedom in post-production to color grade your footage. A lot more data stored. We can really play around with the colors more in post-production. If you have any interest in color grading and editing your GoPro footage or action cam footage, I have my own custom GoPro LUTs and presets I've designed over the years. I'll have them linked below. They're available on my website. Go check them out. Really fun to play around with when it comes to color grading GoPro footage. Something I feel like the max lens mod never really got enough credit for, and same thing with the ultra wide, is if I put the horizon lock on and I hold the GoPro like this, right? Actually, no, I started vertically. So now I'm recording vertical if I'm trying to do like a vlog for, Instagram stories or something, and I turn it like this. We're still shooting portraits, even though the camera is horizontal. Actually, it doesn't matter what angle my GoPro is mounted at. It's still in the orientation that I started recording it with. Super convenient. This also means that you can film perfectly in portrait with your GoPro mounted horizontally. You don't have to turn the camera at all. You can film perfectly in vertical with the camera horizontal. I don't know why, maybe most people know this, but I feel like a lot of people don't. Every time I do this, people are like, oh, no way, you can film vertical while the camera's horizontal. Yes, it's insane. It's so sick. So the big question is, do you upgrade? Well, I would hope this video would have given you enough information to decide that for yourself. If you have a Hero 12, it's probably a bit of a close call. Anything older than Hero 12, I'm definitely telling you to upgrade. You will notice a monumental difference with the 13. There's a bunch of new features on the Hero 13 that I haven't really touched in this video, but I've mentioned everything that I am really stoked on, that I find important to me. Definitely go check out some of the other reviews. I'm sure they'll touch on the things that I didn't, but if you've enjoyed this video and you found it insightful, hopefully you learned a bunch of new things, and you want to support me and you want to support the channel, I do have an affiliate link for the Hero 13. So if you do decide to buy a new GoPro and you purchase it through my link, it really helps support me and the channel. But yeah, that's a wrap on the new Hero 13 Black from GoPro. I am super pumped on this camera. They really stepped it up this year. And I will see you guys in the next one. You. Enjoy making review videos, but it is important that I do, because